that Congress understands the plight of regular Americans struggling during the recession. Joining us now on the phone is Adriel Bettelheim, White House reporter for CQPolitics.com. And Adriel, how much support is there for this? It would seem like there would be a lot.
Well, I think this is going to be, obviously be something that they can rally around in theory. Whether they can find a legislative vehicle to push it out before the end of the year is another question, because there's really not a lot of legislation left moving with only a couple weeks left. But this would extend the pay freeze through 2011. Next year is already covered. They have their cost of living adjustment frozen by a spending package that they passed back in March. So this just kind of continues this public show of empathy with folks who are struggling in the economy.
And possible that the politics in this is as simple as they go ahead and get a bunch of co-sponsors so that they can all go into their re-election saying, look at what we supported, but they rely on the House Speaker never to bring it to the floor so they actually don't have to deal with this?
Well, this was kind of the dynamic that played out last spring. There was talk about repealing the law that contained these automatic cost of living adjustments, and there was a lot of talk and back and forth. And even the Senate took a vote on it, but it never really got enacted. So I think what they want to avoid is a straight up and down vote on whether they should raise their salaries at some point down the road. But right now, I think this speaks to a real populist current out there. It talks about, Washington elites who are out of touch and privileged and operate under different rules. So I think there is a certain appeal to get this done politically.
So, Adriel, let me ask you, have there just been crickets on the other side? I mean, who would come out and defend a pay raise? As you pointed out, I think we spoke earlier, members of Congress, was $140-something thousand, and they have a great health care plan to boot.
Right. They make about $174,000. The folks in leadership, some of them make even more than that. And these COLAs typically are 2 to 3%. So it's not huge, but it keeps pace with inflation. These folks were criticizing auto executives and bank executives for the, compensation packages and the bonuses they were getting this year. So they really don't want to look like hypocrites. I don't think you're going to see many people arguing against it. It's just a question of whether they use the process to kind of squelch the idea.
Adriel Bettelheim from CQPolitics.com. Adriel, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
Chairman, I think that would be one of the easiest votes for members of Congress to take. Of course, they don't want to raise, not miss a recession, but they're going to be whispering, hey, Speaker Pelosi, don't actually bring this to the floor.
It's very interesting, especially as Adriel brought up this whole sentiment of the fat cats on Wall Street. And $174,000, I think, certainly puts you into the fat cat category, especially when you look at some of the decisions